think you showed so much heart and so much courage in that fight that even in this loss, I think is a victory.
Do you think? I wanted to be walking away with that belt, Joe, and I know how tough I am anyway. I don't need to prove it to anyone. I wanted to leave with that belt, but there's no other man I'd rather lose to than the highlight. You know what I mean? Justin Gaethje is someone I've loved.
Scousers do not get knocked out. That Scouser does not get knocked out.
No,
My God. That fucker's right. Scousers do not get knocked out. That Scouser does not get knocked out.
I'm a Scouser. We don't get knocked out. We don't get knocked out. I take that all day.
My God. What a fucking gangster.
Obviously delivered in the main event. It's capped off with a war. Just give us your thoughts on Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett delivering a 5-round battle.
Yeah, I mean, what a couple. So Paddy Pimblett at the weigh-ins yesterday says, I'm going to knock this motherfucker out tomorrow. And I was like, that's interesting. And he never abandoned that game plan. Even when, he got dropped a couple times, I kept waiting for him. I'm like, he's eventually going to have to shoot and try to submit him. Now, I didn't know Paddy Pimblett had a chin like that till tonight. And, yeah, absolute dogfight in a war, and much respect to both guys.
We haven't seen Justin yet, so we don't know what his status is physically. But, I mean, is the interim, is the unification fight have to be next? Or is there a case if he's hurt and needs to be out for a while?
Apparently he's 100%. So we sent Paddy Pimblett straight to the hospital, and then we're going to send Gaethje too. And Gaethje's like, believe me, I've been in plenty of wars. I'm good. So as far as we know right now, he's healthy.
After 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score the contest 48-47, 49-46, and 49-46 for the winner by unanimous decision.
It was an absolutely incredible fight, incredible war. I want you to enjoy it, enjoy your victory. Congratulations on the interim championship belt. Look forward to seeing you fight for the title.
I just want to thank the UFC for allowing me to be in this position. This is like my 11th main event.
Now that the showdown between Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje has wrapped up, everyone's breaking down how the actual fight stacked up against what the pros called beforehand. Leading up to the bout, you had some analysts banking on Paddy's explosive approach to dictate the pace, while others were betting on Justin's crisp counters and tactical patience to seal the deal. Time to dive into what these experts predicted and see how reality measured up.
There. You saw him do it to Michael Chandler. He's taken on the highlight, Justin Gaethje. 26 wins, 5 losses, 20 KOs. The dude fucking KOs people. Early on, he'd calf kick the fuck out of people. He'd calf kick people where they couldn't take it anymore. He had many TKOs from calf kicks alone. The guy is just a dense fucking ball of muscle, built for fighting, 37 years old now. He's crumpled people with his left hook. He's crumpled people with his right hand. Paddy Pimblett is going to have to be very careful throwing his flurries on Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje will sit down and rip a left hook, or sit down, drop his head, and launch a right hand. That's Justin Gaethje's ways to win. He could KO Paddy.
Tim Welch zeroed in on Justin's early game plan way before any grappling exchanges even entered the picture. He painted Justin as a guy who broke people down piece by piece from the opening bell. Those calf kicks weren't just thrown out there randomly, they completely shifted how fighters could plant their feet and stay balanced. Once Justin chopped down the foundation, his boxing became absolutely lethal. Where Tim saw the real danger for Paddy was during his own offensive surges. Every time Paddy came forward throwing combinations and pressing the action, Tim spotted those split seconds where his defense dropped. Justin was the type who didn't need a huge window. He'd sit back, time it perfectly, then unload with serious bad intention. Tim's take was simple. If Justin timed one of those counter shots during Paddy's aggressive moments, lights out.
I'd love to see fucking Justin Gaethje with the title around his waist. He earned it. Justin Gaethje's fought all these fucking monsters his whole goddamn career. Edson Barbosa, Donald Cerrone, Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Habib, Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira, Fiziev twice, Dustin Poirier again, Max Holloway. Like, holy shit. He's fought the elite. So I'd love to see Justin Gaethje get it done. If I had to put, fuck, this is hard. If someone gave me $10,000 to bet with and they said, hey, put it on who you think's going to win. God. I'm going to say 60-40. 60-40. 40% chance that Justin Gaethje knocks Paddy Pimblett out. Hits him on his chin. When Paddy Pimblett's flurrying, hits him right on his fucking, hits him right on the scouser chin. Boom. Gets dropped. 40% chance, I think. 60% chance this fight, Justin's not able to find him. It's a little bit, it's like a spastic, weird style. He's not able to find his chin. Paddy Pimblett, if Paddy Pimblett puts him on his back, it's going to be a long night for Justin Gaethje.
When Tim looked at the longer game, he actually gave Paddy a slight edge because of how these battles typically evolved. Extended fights usually turned messy, and messy situations played right into Paddy's wheelhouse. If the action hit the mat with Justin on bottom, Tim saw it becoming a grinding nightmare for him. But Tim wasn't treating this like some lock either. He called it a razor-thin matchup, where one perfect connection could flip the script instantly. Though impressed, he felt Paddy had more paths to victory than Justin did.
Younger, will you be served with Pimblett? Maybe. Gaethje, he's got to use the assets of a smaller guy. We've seen it, where you got to box, you got to use your legs, you got to set traps. You know, he's got the capability of doing that. Outmaneuver, outflank Pimblett. You know, Pimblett, let me tell you, he has improved a lot over the last 2 years. He really has, bud. He has gotten better. He's gotten more, you could see he's come into his own. Confidence-wise, physically, he's in great shape. They usually all are. But he's improved. His striking has improved. He's a good wrestler, grappler. But he loves to strike. That's what's going to make this fight really interesting and good. They're both going to strike. I mean, for the most part, they're both going to strike.
Teddy Atlas approached Justin's game from a completely different angle, focusing on intelligence over raw aggression. He wanted to see Justin stay mobile, use his boxing fundamentals, and work different angles instead of planting his feet in front of Paddy. Teddy spent serious time breaking down how much Paddy had evolved over recent years. He saw a fighter who looked physically stronger, mentally calmer, and way more sure of his identity inside the cage. The striking had definitely leveled up, but Teddy couldn't ignore how Paddy still got drawn into unnecessary firefights when he had better options available.
I think youth might be served here, but I would go with the over on this because I think the over-under is like
2.5 rounds.
How many?
2.5 rounds over minus 115.
All right, listen, again, we have a pretty good record here, but, you know, I mess up once in a while. I do. That's why it's gambling. But I like the over. I mean, if Gaethje fights the perfect fight, you never know. You never know. But I know who the judges are probably favoring. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. There shouldn't be anything about that. It should just be about what goes on in the cage or in the ring. But I can't help myself but think about things that I see. So maybe, you know, Gaethje would really have to do a job, I think, to get it, which he could. But I think I'd probably favor Pimblett a little bit. But at the end of the day, if I had to put my bucks down.
Teddy's slight lean toward Paddy came down to youth and building momentum, typically showing up in championship rounds. He wasn't sleeping on Justin's knockout power at all, recognizing the constant threat in every single exchange, but he believed Paddy had more room to adapt and find new solutions as the fight developed. That's exactly why he expected this one to go the distance, with Paddy squeaking out a win that never felt secure.
With Paddy, because if he can eat it, I can see Paddy catching Gaethje and maybe almost like a Oliveira fight, you know, catch Gaethje, hurt Gaethje wobble, and then, you know, get to Gaethje's back or something, maybe subtle. You know what I mean? Like, Paddy is very well rounded. You know, he out wrestled wrestlers, he out grappled grapplers. He stands with you. You know, he doesn't care. He throws. You know, everybody's be like, his chin is in the air. He takes shots. Yeah, he takes shots and he still walk forward. How long will that last? We don't know. And that's the question I have to this fight. Or what his reaction is gonna be when Justin Gaethje catches him. Because Justin Gaethje punches like a truck. He kicks like a freaking donkey, and it's.
Max Holloway's breakdown centered on Paddy's chin and recovery ability as the key factor. He thought if Paddy could eat Justin's best shots and keep moving forward, momentum could shift dramatically. Max believed Paddy possessed the skills to hurt Justin during pocket exchanges, then immediately capitalize by securing dominant position or forcing chaotic scrambles. On the flip side, he recognized Justin only needed one clean connection because his power level changed everything in an instant. Max painted Justin as someone who inflicted damage with every tool in his arsenal, and once those techniques landed flush, the fight could be over before Paddy ever established his game plan.
For me, this is a flip up, bro. I'm not surprised if any of these guys win, because I can see two clear paths to these guys winning. I can see Gaethje catching Paddy, you know, putting him down, finishing him. Then I can see Pimblett catching Paddy, Pimblett catching Gaethje, maybe knock him out or hurt him enough to where he can get a submission. You know, I think so. Paramount, the UFC did a really great really great job with putting this first Paramount card together. From the main card, the first main card fight, to the main event is sick. It's gonna be action-packed, and you fans are gonna love it. You know, the new fans are gonna love it. I mean, Gaethje is just violence. Paddy Pimblett doesn't run away from violence. It's gonna be a fun fight. Like I said, I don't know who to choose. I'm not choosing no one. I see both guys. I think this is a coin flip. I think whoever can endure the more damage is going to win this one.
Max's assessment treated this matchup like a pure 50-50 proposition. He saw two completely different scenarios with no middle ground. Either Justin shattered Paddy with accumulated damage, or Paddy weathered the storm long enough to impose his will. For Max, the outcome hinged on pain tolerance and mental toughness more than pure technique, and that unpredictability factor made it must-see television.
But with that being said, let me get to the keys of victory for both these guys. When you look at Paddy Pimblett, keys of victory Paddy Pimblett has got to be dynamic. We're starting to see Paddy Pimblett become more comfortable inside the octagon. So the key victory number one for Paddy Pimblett is be dynamic, meaning that if Justin Gaethje puts you against the cage, don't be scared to do a flying triangle. If Justin Gaethje tries to go for a dump, go for a Kimura, because 9 out of 10 times when he does that, he's able to turn it into something that favors him in the fight. Key number two, grapple. You know, when you look at Justin Gaethje's past fight, when people grapple him that have a good grappling ability, he seems to have hard times with grapplers, where people, you know, when people drop him, Charles Oliveira dropped him, he crossed the volley, jumped on him, got his back, submitted with a rear naked choke. You look when he fought Habib took him down, passed his guard, mounted him, got a triangle from top and rolled to his back. Now I feel like Paddy Pimblett has that grappling ability that can oppose some problems to Justin Gaethje. But
Demetrius Johnson dove deep into Paddy's tactical requirements for success. He stressed that Paddy had to stay completely unpredictable while constantly hunting for grappling opportunities. DJ noticed that Justin looked slightly vulnerable during scrambles, often ending up in compromised positions where submission attempts became available. DJ also addressed the competition level gap between both fighters, but refused to treat it as some insurmountable obstacle. He felt Paddy's victory still demonstrated legitimate skills, especially his ability to control opponents once the fight transitioned to the mat. DJ believed Paddy's grappling would translate regardless of opponent pedigree, because proper technique and timing beat reputation once positions got locked up. DJ favored Paddy based on freshness and focused preparation. He thought Paddy's lighter fight schedule allowed better physical recovery and sharper performance each time out. He saw Paddy as a creative grappler who created serious headaches for someone who preferred stand-up battles. Volk analyzed this fight through a completely practical lens, viewing it as a genuine test of development rather than manufactured hype. What really caught his attention was how he'd completely stopped underestimating Paddy after witnessing his improved fight IQ in recent performances. Volk made it crystal clear this wasn't some gimme fight, constantly returning to how incredibly difficult it was to survive Justin's pressure for 25 full minutes, even while believing Paddy had the defensive tools to navigate early danger. Ultimately, Volk backed Paddy because he respected how Paddy consistently silenced doubters and demonstrated the ability to execute game plans, while acknowledging everything depended on whether Paddy could maintain that same tactical discipline once exhaustion, adversity, and Justin's championship round surge kicked in, making his prediction feel more hopeful than certain. Dan Hardy backed Justin because he viewed the submission threat through a very grounded perspective, refusing to treat it like some revolutionary puzzle. He emphasized that Paddy's finishes came from fundamental positions using standard chokes, meaning Justin had encountered all of these scenarios throughout his career and dedicated countless hours preparing for exactly these attacks. In Dan's mind, this wasn't Justin walking into unknown territory, because his entire professional journey already required him to drill defense against these exact submission attempts repeatedly. He also examined the fight from a strategic mindset, believing Justin always chose approaches that exhausted opponents rather than himself. Dan felt Justin discovered early that engaging in grueling wrestling exchanges burned too much energy, especially against other elite grapplers, so he developed a style focused on staying upright and forcing people to deal with his striking power instead. Dan explained this as an evolution where Justin learned to trust his hands over pure technique, because even when his punches appeared unorthodox, the devastating results spoke for themselves. Bilal Muhammad sided with Justin based on how the striking exchanges would unfold. He studied how frequently Paddy absorbed damage in previous fights and saw major problems against someone who remained composed, picked his spots carefully, and boxed with complete control. Bilal highlighted Justin's jab, footwork, and leg kicks as weapons that could systematically dismantle Paddy over 5 rounds without Justin needing to force anything or expose himself unnecessarily. He acknowledged that Paddy's strongest opportunities existed on the ground, but questioned whether Paddy could consistently secure those positions. Bilal felt Paddy needed chaos, scrambles, and early grappling exchanges to shift the dynamic, because extended striking periods played directly into Justin's strengths. He noted that Justin had dealt with intense pressure many times before, and if he maintained his typical patience like in previous big fights, this became an extremely tough puzzle for Paddy to solve. Those were the expert predictions before fight night, each analyst bringing their unique perspective on how everything would unfold. But now that we've seen how it all went down, what's your take? Did your pick come through, or did the fight surprise you completely? Drop your thoughts and let us know who you had your money on in the comments.